Thank you for tuning in to the Life of KG podcast. We are all about helping you guys in the beauty industry. Whether you're starting out in this industry or been in the business for years, we want to motivate you, educate you, and support you to grow. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, everyone. Well, as I'm recording this, it is morning, but while you're listening to this, it might be morning, afternoon, or evening. So I hope you are having or had a wonderful day. Today, I get to interview Katrina. Now, Katrina is in the hair space, and with her salon, she has a very different working pattern with her teams. And I really wanted to dig deep into this and see how that works for her salon and for her team. She also has a training academy as well. She is in the hair space, and when we are talking about this, remember this can be relatable for hair or beauty or whatever business you have. So without further ado, here she is. Katrina, thank you so much for coming on The Life of KG.
Oh, thanks for having me. Delighted to be here.
Oh, you're so welcome. So you're in Dublin, but for those of you that don't know who you are or where you are or what you do, can you just introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Katrina Kelly. I am in the hairdressing industry 25 years. I'm a salon owner 19 years. I am an educator. I do online education, and I love to empower hairdressers through my education. So I really believe in a growth mindset. So even when I'm educating, I just like to bring that on board when I'm teaching someone as well, just for their own self-belief. I'm left-handed, but I can hairdress with my right hand. So when I educate, I educate with both hands, left and right. So if there's a student who's left-handed, I can use my left hand. If the student is right-handed, I can use my right hand. So although when I was training, most of my educators were right-handed, so I thought it was a bad thing to be left-handed, and now it's actually been it's been a great thing for me becoming an educator. And I am on the European design team for Draco. So I think that's everything. Oh, I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I'm a wife of 1.
Also, you are extremely busy.
Pretty much.
Oh, so obviously you own Cut Social, your hairdressing salon. What was your story before opening the salon? What made you wanted to go into obviously opening your own?
So when I was 15, I actually wanted to be an actress. And again, it's funny, like when I say this, because this is something that has actually helped me become an educator, or, you know, I guess put on that face in front of your client who might be in bad form. And can you hear that? Sorry.
It's okay, don't worry, it's fine.
Sure is outside. Yeah, but just like I wanted to be an actress, and I got into there's a place in Dublin called the Gaiety School of Acting, and I got a place on that. But my mum and dad wouldn't let me leave school for acting because they said it wasn't a real job. Isn't that terrible? But they told me that because my mum and dad were just real grafters. Like, you know, you had to have a trade behind you. They were working from the age of 11 and 13. So they just really believed you had to have a trade behind you. So my mum was like, you can leave for hairdressing if you want. I think she just wanted a hairdresser. And I just wasn't really getting on great as well in school. I just felt like a lot of my the teachers who understood me in a creative way, I did really well with those subjects, and which was history and maths and home economics. But the teachers who didn't understand me, so my business studies teacher didn't get me at all, didn't even try with me, I felt, and I did really bad. I got an F in business. And here I am as a business owner. But
how funny is that?
I know. But then I got a job as a hairdresser, and I just loved it. I loved being around people. I just loved the whole vibe. I used to just get ready going, like, you know, skipping into work every day, and there was just a good feeling. There was just this really lovely vibe that I just loved. And and then I eventually, when I was 22, I opened up my own hair salon, and it was called K2 Hair at the time, and it went really, really well for a very long time, because I was living on passion until my F in my business studies came along and kicked me in the ass and told me, no, Katrina, actually, this is the business you're running. So I had to kind of relearn a lot of skills, and I had to let go of 2 businesses as well, which was actually the making of me, even though it was a sad time because I didn't want to let go. You know, when you've built something, and I love building businesses as well, and building a brand. But one of them was my makeup brand and my hair brand, and or sorry, not my hair brand, my makeup brand and my hair salon, K2 Hair, which I'd built for like a very long time. And but it was actually the making of me, because I learned so much from it, and it really taught me how to pivot. So what we did then was we rebranded as Cut Social. We opened up, we moved the premises that we were originally in, we moved out of that premises, and again, it wasn't a great relationship with the landlord. I remember just feeling so stressed, and you know, he was even getting to the stage where he wanted kind of cash, and I wanted everything above board, and it just wasn't a good vibe at all, and I was just feeling really vulnerable. So I was just like, I need to actually get out of this premise. And it was too much, the amount of money that he was charging for the premises. And I was just like, I need to get out of this, because I was suffocating. And so I let go of 2 businesses, and then we kept the one that we were with the bad landlord. We kept that business and moved it down to a really cool location in Phibsborough. And I rebranded, and I remember bringing the team in and saying to the team, you know, right, so now we're Cut Social, we're not K2 Hair anymore. This is what we do at Cut Social. And what I really did, like, I worked with a good few mentors and coaches and business owners to, you know, to really find what it was that I wanted. Because I believe your business is your voice. So your business is your brand, you know, and I think it has to be, your values have to be aligned with your business values and your, you know, your brand values, and because it really is you, and you want to attract those people who believe what you believe. And I've always believed that people buy from people. So I was like, right, if I had a salon now, what would it be called? So, and it was brilliant, because when you've been in something like for so long, I've always loved change, and I've always loved pushing ahead. But when you've been in something for so long, and when the shit hits the fan, can I say that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I just did. But like, when shit hits the fan, and you kind of, you know, you have to kind of, something has to change. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you have to kind of change things. And like, for me, I was like, right, what would I do now? Like, if I was like, if I'm Katrina now, right now, what would I do, and what would I open up? And that's when I was like, right, I'm going to do something different, because some of my team are with me 18 years. And I was like, if we don't change, then everybody stays like stale. And like, you know, I listen to entrepreneurs and business owners talk about, it's good to like for people to live in your business and stuff, and, you know, out with the old and in with the new. And I agree with that to a certain point, but it's also really great to be able to hold on to people who have been with you for 18 years and help them grow with a growth mind as well. So now I have some people who work for me that were trainees that are now managers, or they run my online store, or they are educators, and, you know, they work less days, and we've just made it work. But when I did rebrand as Cut Social, I was right, what kind of vibe are we? And I was like, you know, I loved London and New York. They're my 2 places that I love to kind of go and visit, and I would have done like education stuff there as well. And I got engaged in New York, so I just love the vibe. So like, if you look around, you'll see it's kind of like a bit of a New York vibe. I know the listeners can't see this, but that was kind of the vibe of the salon. And then I was like, I love social. I love being social. I love the social aspect. I love chatting. I love social media, and I love, you know, understanding that it can be a really positive place depending on what you what you put out there, because I really believe what you put out there is what you'll get back as well. I don't get a lot of bad things happening on social. I'm sure every now and again it will happen, but I really do believe, you know, what you put out there is what you'll get back. And so I kind of wanted Salon to be like a social place. So we had so we named it Cut Social, and that's kind of like, that's how we got to this point of Cut Social. So, but like, you know, I run it so differently, and I've always tried to, like, every year we relook at everything and we kind of see what we need to make changes in, because that was the problem I think I had for many years, was not looking at, like, not doing KPIs on my business, key performance indicators, and not checking through, and just being delighted that I was doing something that I loved, and coming home from work saying, oh my God, I just love my job. I just loved it. But there was loads of stuff that was happening behind the scenes, and I had my head buried in the sand.
So one thing that I did notice as you was just talking was you said you started the salon with passion, and then after a while, the issue that, say in school, you had with business as an F, that comes shining through. What was it that you thought, okay, I now need my business head on, then my passion? Because so many hairdressers and beauticians do go into opening their salons because they have the passion for it and not necessarily have the business brains.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and that was me, like, as well. I think everything I do now is, I don't want people to make mistakes that I've made, or I just want them to understand that it is a business that they're running. As soon as you turn that key, you're a business owner, you're not a hair salon owner. And that's why even on, we're on Clubhouse, and my Clubhouse is called Salon Biz Growth Mindset, because I want salon owners to know that they're not a salon owner, they're a business owner. And to have that growth mindset around it, because I think there's a difference when we say salon owners and a business owner or an entrepreneur, and there's a difference. I feel there's a mindset shift when you call yourself a business owner compared to a salon owner. And but for me, it was just like, the realization that, like, you know, everybody was clapping me on the outside saying, Katrina, you're doing amazing, because I was winning awards. I was like, you know, and I'm just a really happy, positive person. So I was just like, yeah, everything is grand, everything's going to be fine. And but it's fine until it's not fine. It's fine until there's revenue knocking on your door, or you become friends with the sheriff because he has to call in to collect money off you. Like that's not, like, that's not a good vibe. It's not a good feeling. And I feel like there's another delivery coming here. But when that kind of happens, you know, and like, it starts to affect you as well, because it's kind of heartbreaking to put so much passion and so much love into something, but the one thing that you're missing is the one thing that you need the most, and that is actually running a business and understanding that it's a business that you're running. And like, for me, I still can have my passion, but now I know that, right, if I can't do this, who's the best person that can do this for me? And that might be, like, you know, one of my team. So one of my team, for instance, she helps to fill in one of our weekly reports that our accountant gave us. So we do everything now, like, weekly, a KPI weekly, and that's our percentages, wage percent, everything. And it's just like, when I was getting this off my accountant, I was like, Tony, I need this to be really simple, because I'm really creative and I can get distracted with ideas. So I need it to be color coded. I need it to be, you know, just on one page. And it makes it fun then, you know, you kind of enjoy it. But when you start, like, what you don't measure doesn't get managed. So what gets measured gets managed. And I was like, we were measuring everything else. We were looking at even the sales. We were like, oh my gosh, look at that week. This is great. And then I remember having this particular month, it was in August. And I remember thinking, wow, oh my God, that's the best August we've ever had. And I remember my accountant sitting down with me and saying, let's have a little look at this, okay? Let's just really dig deep into this particular month. And I was like, right. And I was like ready, because I was like, this is going to be brilliant. And he said, so see that month you took in like we were, say, 30% up. And I was like, yeah. And I said, right, now let's have a little look at the spending. And the spending was like so high, the amount of products that we had bought, the wages, everything went up. And the August that I thought was our best month, like, say our best August, because August wouldn't have been always a good month for us, but this was our particular best August that we had. We were actually down. And although it looked shiny like a diamond, I was like, this is amazing. But like, when you actually break everything down, you sometimes, on those higher months, you can overspend because you think the money is there. Exactly. And so it's really kind of like digging deep. And I love to kind of make it a little bit more fun now for me, because I had such a bad relationship with money, because my parents came from, I guess, they came from a family upbringing of like, you know, my mom had there was 7 of her sisters in the same bed when they were younger. They used to all wear, you know, they'd wear each other's shoes, and my mom would have to wear shoes that were too small for her, you know. So there was always this guilt around money in my house growing up. Like my mom would be like, "No, money doesn't grow on trees," and I'd be like, "Mom, I know," and, you know, and they did their best for us. We had a great life growing up, but there was always this guilt. Like my mom, even now, she'd say stuff like, "Oh no, can't afford that," and I'm like, you can, like, money is there for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like but it's this guilt around it. So I didn't realize that I actually carried that through when I had the guilt as well. But what I was actually doing was just burying my head in the sand. And I've had counseling, I've a life coach. Like there's a lot that I have to work on to you know, get myself back into that kind of, I guess, is it prosperity kind of mindset as well. And I'm actually loving it. I'm loving learning about it. I'm loving like listening to people's self-talk when they talk about money, and you can hear it a mile away, you know. Like some people as well, they might come across really flashy, but on the inside they're, you know, they're flapping underneath it all, and it's kind of just getting that, like, you know, just really understanding your self-talk as well. So like sometimes my mind might say something financially about, you know, to me, and I'm like, right now, that's okay. You have to kind of really check yourself. But that is kind of like where I think for me a lot of it came from was my family and my upbringing. And then me as a child, me as an adult, going back to that child kind of thinking, you know, I don't know, I felt like even in my 30s, I was still blaming my parents for them not teaching me how to save. And then I was like, right, Katrina Kelly, you have to cop on to yourself, and just like, nothing's going to change if you don't change. And that's when I just really started to kind of change things. And what I discovered as well is, like, when you're saying, if you say yes to other people, you're saying no to you. And I was a real yes person. I'd say yes to everybody. If anybody could ask me to do anything, I'd say yes, no problem. I love helping people. It's just the nature that I have, and I love seeing other people grow. But what I didn't realize was I was saying, and even with my other businesses, I was saying yes to all my team because I wanted to develop them and keep everybody. And but I was saying no to me. And once I kind of discovered that, then I was like, okay, I'm going to say yes to me. So what is it that I want? And, you know, the business now, when I look at things, we've grown so much, we've changed so much. And like, I'm working less, even though I'm busy, I'm working less, you know, we're earning more. It's, at the moment we're closed, but but again, it's really just like working smarter as well. I hate to hear now, you know, especially a business owner behind the chair, like 6 or 7 days a week. It just upsets me because I did it for so long and I thought that that's what I had to do. And but you're not working on your business. If you're behind a chair, you're like, and now I know when I'm behind the chair, I'm not, there's nothing for my business is being done when I'm behind the chair unless somebody else is doing it. So if I don't have someone else doing all the other business stuff and I'm behind the chair, then nothing for my business is getting done. And I remember, you know, having accountant meetings and you could be up till 2 a.m. trying to get stuff done because you didn't have a chance to get it done. And that's just no life for anybody, you know. And especially I think now with the way the world is at the moment, I think we've all learned to try and look after ourselves a bit more, to fill our own cups up more, you know. And I just think things won't work unless we work, and we have to work first. You have to look after yourself first before you can look after your business and anybody else in there as well.
Definitely. I mean, you've said so many things there that I absolutely resonate with. Like, I'm all about, I coach salon owners mainly in the beauty space, but how to step out of the shop floor and work on their businesses, because it is 100% a must. Like, and people say, I've got that, but I love it. I love that passion. 100%, of course, that's why you open. But you open a business as well. And you need to work. Otherwise, you're creating a job. You might as well go and work for another salon down the road.
That's it, exactly. Like, if you love working as a hairdresser, as a beautician, then go and work for somebody else. Like, but if you want, if you're creating a business, you know, and a culture, for other people to work in, then, you know, it is up to us to make sure that we run the business, because we have to protect the people that are working for us as well. So, and you can't do that if you're behind the chair all the time, or, you know, or you know, 6 days like in the business and not on the business. I think that's so important.
Definitely. And also relate back to your mindset with your family, because this is a key money blocker for people, that they obviously take on what we've been brought up on, which obviously everyone is going to do that. Like our parents teach us how to walk, talk, our mindset, everything comes from our family. And so obviously as we grow older, we are an image of what our family have taught us. And I just think it's absolutely incredible and applaudable, the journey that you've been on to change your mindset, because I know how difficult that would have been. And isn't just the education around money like so fascinating? I love it.
I love learning about it. And it was like, to me, like even growing up in Dublin, it was just like money was a dirty word. Like it was, you know, and even like people didn't talk about money. They just talked about going to the credit union to get a loan. Do you just have credit unions there?
I think so. I don't really do all of that, so I think so. Yeah. But you can go and get loans.
Yeah, so there's a place over in Dublin and it's called the Credit Union, but like it's so funny, like it's a real meme thing. People are just like, oh sure, I'll just go to credit union. And you know, even my mum and dad were very much like actually, so like we're back living with them at the moment because we're saving for our mansion. So myself, my husband and my 2 children are back and my parents. So it's crazy being around this again, like, you know, listening to them, how they talk about money now that I'm in a different mindset and now that I know what their self-talk is. It's just even crazy, like listening to them and just, but my mom and dad, they were talking the other day about, you know, a loan. They were like, oh, that's grand now. We've no loan. Your dad's after finishing his last loan. And then half an hour later, they're like, sure, we might as well get another loan. And I was like, why? For what? And they were like, you're better off just having one. I was just like, are you? Like, where does this come from? And they said, you're just better off though, like, you know, because if that happens, at least it's gone. I'm just like, oh. And, you know, it's so funny. I've been trying to, not that I've been trying to change them, but I'm trying to kind of teach them to value themselves and know their own self-worth, because it's terrible. They've worked so hard their whole lives and they're hard workers. And to see, you know, the guilt that they have around money, and that's really all it is. It's just their mindset around money, because they could be doing really well and then it's that self-sabotage of, you know, it's mad the things that you can see when you, like, because I learned how to meditate and, you know, just practice my awareness. So when I practice my awareness, I can catch my thoughts. And it's crazy, the thoughts, the things that we're telling ourselves. It's just mental. Like you can have up to 60,000 thoughts a day, I think it is. And yeah, so if you can catch them. I remember one of the days I was like, my mind was saying, Katrina, you need to go on a run. And straight away, the next thought that came into my head was, oh, your leg is sore, you're tired. And I actually had to have this conversation with myself. And I was like, no, you're actually okay. You're grand. So I went on a run and I did a 5K nonstop, and like, but I could have stopped myself. I could have told myself, and I felt amazing after. And I actually felt really empowered because I was able to tell myself that's in my head that, like, you know, I'm able to do this. I can do this. So that's kind of even what I'm like now when it comes to more money and the financial side of things as well. Like, and I just want to make it more exciting and fun, and that it's not a dirty word, and that we can all, you know, run our businesses really successfully if we are watching and looking at and monitoring it and making sure that we delegate. Like, I think it's important as well to know that you can't do everything. I think sometimes as a salon business owner, you can be very much like, oh no, like you think that you have to be the one to do everything. But for us, even at Quit Social, what we do is I learn how to do everything. So I know how to do the online store. I know how to do like the wages, like absolutely more or less everything within the business I know how to do. But I don't do it because I'm not the best at doing them. But I still need to know how they're done so that I can kind of make sure that that person is doing them. And then what we actually, something new that we've done through COVID is we are recording, because this might give somebody a tip as well, but we're recording videos So we have, like, say all of our systems are wrote down, and you know, everybody knows how to do the systems, and when somebody new comes in, we go through the systems. But we've actually, because of, like, you know, I guess the what's the word I'm looking for, the world that we live in now, like, everything is visual. And we actually have a private Instagram for our team, so we're going to do little short snippets of videos. We have some done, but even down to how we towel wrap the hair, how we answer the phone, how the client comes in, and they're just like literally 1 minute videos of all these things. And then we have one for admin, and that'll be for the wages, for online store. So if something happens, somebody that, like, you know, and again, it's just preparing that if somebody is out, or if somebody wants to move up or move into admin, you know, or if somebody has to work from home, maybe they can work in the admin side of things. And but these are like little short videos of how to do things, and again, it's much more visual, that you can nearly put it on, you know, while you're doing it as well. So that's something that we're doing at the moment. So I'm excited about that, because I'm very much a visual learner as well. I love to see how things are done.
Yeah, and it's all systems, isn't it? It's systems. It's putting systems in place so your business is running in even more ways on its own. Or like you said, when you are recruiting, there's systems there for people to go, there you go, there's the videos, this is how you learn, rather than having to take other people out of the business to be able to teach these people. Like, it's a very, very clever way of doing it, definitely.
I'm kind of just thinking of all the, like, you know, my team as well, and how they all learn. And even me, like, sometimes it's actually easy to go onto Instagram and watch a video, like, you know, even there's a lot of people doing you know, just 3-step videos, step 1, step 2, step 3, and again, it could be in business or a mindset, and you just learn so much. It's like that quick learning. So again, some of my team, I know they love to read things, and they need to know exactly, like, at what time you do this and what time you do that, and more structure. So we already have that, but this is, I guess, for people who need to just be able to look at a quick video as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
That's really good changes. So obviously, Katrina, me and you kind of met on Clubhouse. Are you still on Clubhouse as much? Are you still a Clubhouse lover?
I love Clubhouse. What I have been doing though is, like, I haven't been on it as much. I'm trying to, I know whose rooms I want to be in, and I'm kind of working my schedule around them, because I did find that sometimes I got a little bit lost on it. As in, you could just be on it and your time is gone. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm learning how everybody else is doing their businesses, but I haven't done that for mine. And I've so many notes. So what I try to do is I write down notes, and then I will kind of see what I can do, like, from Clubhouse that's going to actually, you know, that will be beneficial to me. Whereas I think the first week of listening on Clubhouse, I was like, oh, I'm going to like, and you can just think that you should be doing all these things. But I think any advice or tips you get, it's just really important that you break it down and you kind of think, okay, that sounds great, but will that work for my business? How will it work, and why will it work? And then you're kind of able to, and do we need to kind of change something about that? But I'm finding it so good, like, just even for networking and meeting people, and globally as well. It's crazy. Like, I actually had I had staged my very first Clubhouse, like, of my own club, and Mary behind the chair came on, Robert Cromans came on. There was a few people, like, came up onto stage, and it's just oh no, Robert, sorry, wasn't in that day. Mary was in that day. But just, like, to see all these global people, kind of, it's like, it just, you know, there's no sea behind. We don't even have to go on an airplane. We could just drop into someone's club and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm loving it. Are you loving it?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I've really had to, like you, schedule, because I wasn't sleeping. I was like a zombie for a week. Like, the American the American rooms, I just couldn't get off them, and they're going like 48 hours at a time, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But like I said, you learn so much, and it's just about making sure that you are noting it down and figuring out what can work on your business. And the networking for me was key. Like, it was opening my eyes. Obviously, I know there's millions of business owners out there, but there is more people to what my circle is. And obviously I knew that, but it really opened my eyes up to that. There is so many more people that I could connect with. And it made me really excited that actually my business can grow so much more. Everyone else's businesses can grow so much more. And yeah, just a real eye-opener to be able to connect with other business owners and entrepreneurs across the globe. So easy. I love.
Yeah, it is. It's just incredible. Like, I have a few things kind of coming up, and I've been able to connect with the right people. Whereas beforehand, and even going back to, my childhood, my financials and all that, I you'll find me now in some of the money talk rooms, because I feel like, because I'm back living at home with my mum and dad, it can be very easy to get back into an old mindset. But I'm not willing to. So for me to be in those rooms, I actually feel like Clubhouse has been brilliant for me around money, and just really learning about it, and just certain words, and just, and understanding, again, like really pushing that business side of things as well. Because I love the fact that most people within our industry are passionate about the industry. And even I have a friend, she's the Irish hairdressing president of the Federation. But herself and her husband have hair salons, but they're not hairdressers. But they're so passionate about our industry. And anyone who comes into our industry, if they don't work within hair and beauty, they still just become so passionate about it, because I just think it's such a special industry. And I actually think our industry, the beauty industry, is going to do so well on Clubhouse, because I think a lot of people are really kind of realizing how clever we all are. Do you know what I mean? And how good actually at business we are when we really own it. And I think it's all about owning your business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I remember listening to you, I think it was the first time on Clubhouse, and what really drew me to you was your working week of how your salon runs. Like, I love that you have a 3-day working week, right? How does that work? What made you change that? Like, I so badly want to know more.
So we do a 3-day working week, and it's like it's from the pandemic, when I had already started to do it. So I was doing 2 days behind a chair, because I was educating, and I was, organising, making sure that everybody was doing what they needed to do, and spending time with my family. I have 2 young children, like Darcy's 10 and Lone is 5. And I remember when I had them at the very beginning, I was back to work within a few weeks, and your children are only small for so long, and I want to make sure that I have that time with them. And I was actually, again, me being a bit of a giver, I was very concerned about my team having family time. And then I had to stop and kind of think, oh, hang on, what about me? I want to have that as well. And I think if you're not looking after yourself and you're just giving to your team, you will become resentful of them, because you'd be like, well, how can they can get a Saturday off, or they can have this, I can't, because I'm the salon owner. Like, and it's mental we do this to ourselves. So what I decided to do was, okay, whatever I give my team, I'm giving to me. It doesn't matter if I'm the salon owner. I've put enough, I've put enough years in. So whatever I give my team, I'm giving to me. So what would I give to my team? And I was like, after we had been in lockdown, I was like, this is lovely. This is actually really nice. I know my business is closed, but this is lovely. I'm getting to spend time with my family. I'm getting to decorate the house. I'm getting to work on my own time. Like, I was doing online education as well. And I was like, I'm really enjoying this. So when we came back, I was like, right, I'm going to split the salon into two teams, and we're going to work 3 days on and 4 days off. But I sat for a full week, and I said to my team, like, I'm not going to answer any WhatsApps. I'm just really focused on the roster, and then I'm going to announce it, which is next week. And we did like a Zoom meeting, and but I just needed to go through it like a fine-tooth comb. And what I did was I had all their names on post-it notes. So all over my kitchen, there was like these post-it notes on everyone's names, the days of the week, the hours. And I just kept, every time my husband would come in, he'd like, do you want a coffee or do you want a glass of wine? Because I'd be just moving the post-it notes. Like, it was mental. It was crazy, but it was visual for me. And I was like, right, that could work. This could work. And then when I finally felt, right, this could work, I announced it to the team. And two of the team actually rang me afterwards, and they were just like, oh, I don't know whether I can do this, like, because they weren't with their friends. And I said to them, there's a reason why you're not with your friends. And they were like, why? And I said, because they're your little safety blanket. So I said, you need to come out of that, I said. And what will happen is, you know, when people kind of go off into little groups within the salon, there's always one that will, you know, might be a little bit more negative around, say, a new rule, and then they can pull those people in. What I'm trying to do is, you know, I guess, grow my team's mindsets so they can make their own decisions on for them, you know, and come to me about how they feel about something, not how somebody else has told them that they should feel about something. So I separated the teams up, and exactly what happened. They all grew, and they were just like, even now they thank me for it, because they're just like, oh my God, I actually can't believe how, you know, even how negative I was in certain situations. One of them in particular has said to me, you know, like, they can't believe how positive now they are, and just how much that they realized that they had to grow a little bit themselves, and they weren't able to do that because sometimes when you're in these little groups, it doesn't happen. So that was one of the big things. And then the other thing was working 3 days on and 4 days off, because I wanted my team I wanted them to be in for 3 days, have 4 days off. So when we were off for our 4 days, we were off longer than we were in. So we were dying to get back to work. And 4 days have to be together, and the 3 days have to be together. And the reason around that as well, because I was actually reading loads of books, and I was trying to bring all of my learnings, even in the last few years, back to this particular roster. And but the 4 days we were off, 4 days is long enough for you to go away for a weekend. It's long enough for you to organize to be in work for 3 days, so to get your clothes ready, to get your food prepping ready, to anything that you need to do. It's long enough as well to get over a stressful situation. So if something has happened within 3 days in the salon, you have 4 days to kind of get your mindset ready. You've 4 days to exercise, all of those things. The thing about it is, when you're in work 12-hour shifts. So we work from 8 to 8. But again, I'm very flexible with the team. So if my team have to collect their children or bring them to school, they can do that. Their column, you know, their business is within our business. So when they have a week where they've to, you know, they might start at 9 o'clock or 9:30, they'll make it up the following week by either coming in early or staying back a little bit later. And we pay by the hour as well. So we clock in and clock out. And it's just a really, really good system that seems to be working. And the one thing, like, I actually had my one-to-ones with the team this week, and I said, guys, you know, we're a year now doing our roster, like, and I just wanted to know, I want to continue it. And every single one of them were thrilled. They were like, oh my God, boss, I'm so happy. And for me as well, like, when I know I'm in work 3 days, I'm focused on those clients that are there. There's less mistakes made. And you're in that, you know, it's 3 days of full on hair color transformations, looking after the team, looking after clients, and then you're 4 days off too. For me as well, I'm able to send, so my first day off after being in the 3 days, I do all my business checks to check in on everything. And with the 3 days now, and especially, like, you know, because of the pandemic, we weren't doing a lot of clients, so I was able to really just focus on hair as well, and I loved it. But because I have other people doing business, the business side of things, for me, I'm actually able to focus on hair when I'm here and just really enjoy that and have that passion for it. But my business is really important as well, to make sure that that part of it is going well. But it's just been the best thing we ever did, and I can't see us changing it. And a couple of salons did try it, and they had changed back. And so, like, there's one in particular that has said that they're actually thinking of going back now to the 3 day, because there's other, like, I know, like, and even like if somebody is listening to this, like, they have to make sure that it's going to work for you. And the reason how we got it to work financially for us was we stopped doing blow dries. So we do blow dry, like, but we just don't, like, if somebody can't just book in for a blow dry, so it's a short service. You're getting your, like, we blow dry everyone's hair, you know, after their color service, but we really zoned in around color transformations and mainly color and treatments and stuff like that as well. And we take deposits, so every client has to pay for a deposit on like a booking deposit. So all of that, like, financially made it work. And the other thing, our team got their tax forms. So we in Ireland, there's a thing called PUP, the PUP we call it, and that's their payments that they were getting. So say about €350 they were getting weekly, but everybody owed tax on that. So a lot of my team, they got their forms back and they didn't owe any tax. because they were actually all earning more last year because of working the 12-hour shifts and doing, like, instead of them doing like 8 clients, they're doing, 3 to 4 clients a day, but they're all bigger services. And the clients value us a lot more as well, like clients who are willing to pay for you, and like, you just want to put your all into it as well, and there's less mistakes made, there's less redos, you just feel like you just want to put your all into it. It's just, when somebody is buying you at a higher price, you want to give them everything. Whereas I feel like sometimes if we're selling ourselves at like a lower price, we're half giving things, and then we become resentful because we're tired, we're exhausted, and we're cranky. So really looking after yourself is really important as well. And then another thing that I've always done this is everybody's lunches has to be in. So breaks and lunches have to be in before clients. My team are not allowed to move their break or their lunch. They're not, like, that has to go to management. And if they are moving it, they have to make sure that they have be fed, because I am so cranky if I don't get my food. I need to be fed. And I'm always saying, like, you need that energy in you as well. So looking after yourself is number one. And then what else did we do? Oh, we did because we're in masks, we have a back garden, so we turned it into like a meditation back garden area for people to go out and have their lunch breaks, and it's a mask free zone, so you can take your mask off just outside and just chill, and there's like nobody's sitting, like, everybody will be 2 meters apart. So that's been lovely, because some of us come in early and we meditate, and not all my team meditate, some of them are like, some of them are still not into it, but then when they do it, they're like, oh, I feel good after that, so I love anything that kind of helps our minds to kind of relax a little bit as well. So yeah, they're all the changes that we've made. They're the changes that we've made that are working. There was other ones that we tried that just, you have to try things and see, and then you have to originally we weren't taking any blow dries in, so any singular blow dries we weren't taking in. And what we realized was that some of our clients who had been with us a long time, their blow dry was their little thing that they got every week, and they loved getting that done. And we had to kind of relook at ourselves and think, hang on, are we actually not looking after people here that we love coming to the salon? And it's not just about these high-end dockets all the time either. It's about, a vibe of a person as well. Like I love looking at, your the ideal client. But it can't be only just around that docket. Like, to me, it has to be that person's vibe as well. And we've some gorgeous clients who they're just, their vibe is part of us. And I don't care like what price their dockets are. Do you know that way? They need to be here because they're such a good vibe. So yeah, so some of the blow dry clients, we rang up and we said, look, we want to start looking after you for your blow dries every week still. But what we weren't allowing was like new clients just coming in for blow dries, because the team we'd a list full of big colour jobs that the team want to do, and it's all about what you want to do as well. Like, I don't want my team doing lots of blow dries when they actually love to do colour, because they're not going to be passionate about doing blow dries then, so it's really finding out what it is that everybody loves to do within your business as well, and making sure that they're doing. If you don't offer that service within your business, then that's when that person shouldn't really be working for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And when it comes to clients and then changing to that 3-day working week, obviously you would have had some clients that could only come in on certain days and they're so set with that, but maybe that stylist isn't now in on that day. Did you have any problems sorting that out?
Yeah, like we actually thought we were going to have a lot more issues with that. Like we really did. And sometimes for me, that's what stopped me making a decision, is thinking of the client. But then I'm like, oh, if I say yes to the client, I'm saying no to me. So I'm like, right, let's do this. And whatever we come up against, we'll have, we'll have an answer to. So I actually said to the team, if any clients say anything about anything, just I can give them a call. Because I didn't want to put it on the team either. So I didn't mind giving them a call, because the roster came from me. So, and I know sometimes if I take control of a client, it can be very different with me compared to someone else as well. So I was like, I'll take control of that. But we did put it out on social. We put it everywhere, so clients knew. We sent out a text message. They knew it was coming. But what we did do was, so for instance, I have clients who just came to me on a Saturday. And when I changed to Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, we opened at 8 o'clock in the morning. So now they were able to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning before they went to work. or they were able to come in at 6 o'clock in the evening before or after work. Whereas because we were doing 8 to 8, like, so we went from doing like, say 9 till 6 on a Monday to 8 to 8, 5 days a week. So we actually end up, you know, like your clients who would have come to you on a Saturday could actually come in at 8 in the morning. And some of them now prefer that because they're like, oh my God, my Saturday is free. So they're getting their hair done first. So we kind of, I guess in a way, we had an answer to what their problem would be. You know, they had other options. There was other options there. And I think when there's no other options, that's when it can be, that's when I think, you know, clients will go against you. But I also do believe that, like, it's actually okay as well to lose a couple of clients. Now, I hated losing any clients. I take it really personally, but now I'm just like, no, if clients can't come to you, they can't grow with you, and that's okay. And it's okay for them not to grow with you. And that's why I like to, they're the words I like to use, if my client can grow with me or not. But at the same time, I still want to make sure that I'm looking after clients, you know, and that I'm not just like trying to shed off all my old clients who have served me for so long as well. The other thing, actually, what we do and what works really well is, so the teams, so say for instance, team A is on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Team B is on Thursday, Friday and Saturday for a month, and then we swap.
I was just going to say to you, what happens weekends?
Yeah, so say team A for a whole month, they're off every Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday for a month. And then team B are off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the following month we swap. So what happens is every 2 months, when the swap over happens, I think it's every second month, one team will get 6 days off together. And the other team will work 3 days on. They'll have 1 day off and 3 days on. But then the next month after, they'll have 6 days off together. So when we get 6 days off, the team are like, oh my God, I have 6 days off and I haven't even eaten into my holidays. Like, why didn't we do this before? And it's just crazy. Like, I feel like I've spent maybe 20 years working on this, but it took a pandemic to get into it.
Yeah, I guess a holiday entitlement, obviously it's less as a business now because they're working 3 days a week, right?
So it works out as days as opposed to kind of weeks. But because you see they're still doing 12-hour shifts, they're some of them are actually working more hours now than what they were originally working. And but like some of their holidays, it works out more as days, but they actually have more time off, if that makes sense. So say for instance, if one of them is taking they're taking 6 days off, they'll have the 4 days off, then the 3 days, then the 4 days, then the 3 days, and then they might have their 4 days and then they're not back into like 3 days off. So when they would originally taken, say, a 2-week holiday, they now have like 2.5 weeks off together. And that's the shift of it. So it's not that it's eating into anyone's time. And it's crazy when you do something as a boss, you become much more flexible as well. And I think, you know, I've always been flexible, like with team. I thought I was actually, and I would have been, you know, flexible enough, but now I'm just like, yeah, that's no problem. We can make that work, and we can, because I find that when they come to you, so I used to think that, you know, if you give too much, they're going to ask for too much. But now what I do is like I give, and they take now all the time, because it's their business within our business. So, and another thing, do you use Forest within your salon?
I've got Forest, yeah.
Yes, we have Forest, and I had been saying to them as well, I think I'd say a lot of people have been, but about, you know, the targets and the performance targets. And now there's with the app, all of our teams have their performances on it. Now I know some business owners don't like it. I love it, because to me it's all about putting that responsibility on someone. And I bring it back to what I was saying about my parents. I blamed my parents for not teaching me how to save. And as soon as I shifted that, you know, on myself, and I try to do that with my team, I want to make them responsible for themselves within my business. So even down to being able to maybe check a client in and out themselves, or check their performances themselves, instead of having to ask somebody and saying, oh, I asked them, but they never got back to me. Because that's so easy to just say, oh, they never got back to me. But like, are you getting back to yourself on things? Like, are you checking it for yourself? And I think if we all become a bit more responsible for our own actions, then we will start to grow. So that's what I'm trying to do with the business. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So when you make this decision, you made the decision and then told the team, this is what's happening. Do you think that if you said to the team, oh, we're going to do this, what do you guys think? You'd have had the same response? Or did you just thought, no, I'm taking that decision completely out of everyone else's hands and I'm making that decision? Because so, for example, with my team, I always go back to them and go, this is what I think, like, oh, this is what we're going to do, get everyone's input. But because they might not be, obviously they're therapists and not business, right? So sometimes it doesn't work. Like, do you think you would have had a different answers from them if you asked them if they want to do this before you made the decision?
Yeah, I think I know even some of my decision making with the team, and even now I want to know where they're at. I want to brainstorm with the team. I want to hear what they think of like when we're coming up with a decision on something, I want to kind of understand where their mindset is. But what I have discovered, and especially when I started to kind of, work on myself, I realized that sometimes I was allowing other people to make the decision for me. And that changes your whole culture and your vibe and your values. And that's why you're like, your business is you, your business is your values. And I think it's really important to, like, be the last one to speak and let your team like air their feelings on things. So what I do ask them is, how do you feel? So I sent out a survey. So it was like a monkey survey, and to the team, I had been sending them out like once a week, and I wanted to see where they were at. So the survey that I sent out before I kind of made the decision on this was, the questions I asked them was, are you coming back to Cut Social? Do you want to still work here? Has anything changed? And they were like, yes. And how many days a week can you see yourself working? And how much would you like to earn a year? So this is hilarious. So some of my team wanted to come back 2 days. So I have two people who I call, they're like the Kardashians of the salon. And they wanted to come back 2 days a week. And then when I said, how much do you want to earn? So I put it in brackets. So one was like 20 grand a year, 100 grand, 70 grand, 150 grand. So two of the people wanted to come back and work 2 days a week and earn 150 grand a year. So I was just like, me too, me too. But I did, like, that's what I did. I did a survey first to see where they were at, to see kind of like, who is it that you'd miss work with, who. And I really do believe if you're friends with somebody in work, and if you're really friends with them, if you're really vibing with them and you really like think they're a positive influence on you, then you can be friends with them outside of work. So I don't have to make sure that you two are together all the time. If you have a friendship, you need to be able to work on it outside of my business. And again, because I'm very much like, I love people to grow. And I think sometimes we can be surrounded by people that just love us as we are, and they're afraid themselves. They don't want to grow, so they don't want you to grow. And that's not good for anybody. So when I see that happening, I try to separate people a little bit. But again, it's not even just for the business, it's for themselves as well. And they've proved me right that they've all grown so much, and I'm loving looking at it as well. Like, I have two people in particular who were they always kind of they'd nearly kind of grate off each other a little bit. They'd be, just like if one said one thing, the other one would say the opposite. And I just remember at times thinking, oh my God, kids, can you please just get on? And they're working together now, and the respect they have for each other, the love they have for each other, like buying each other presents for their birthdays, and just because now they actually both really respect each other because they're together and they have to work together as a team. And what they've actually realized is they're both very alike. They're more alike than they thought they were, and that wouldn't have happened only for I put them together. So they had to. Now it was very hard at the beginning. There was a few weeks where I was thinking, oh, this is not going to work. They're going to kill each other. But it did. And it's come, and I've had to have them in my office to just have that little conversation with them and air things out. And that's another thing. It's catching things as they happen. Like I would have been someone that I'd be like, oh, I'll talk to them later. because I didn't like confrontation. And whereas now I'm just like, all right, can we have a chat? I'm so direct now. And again, that's down to my self-talk. Like I journal. So I had to, even coming back, I was writing every day. Katrina, you're so organized. You're so direct. I love how direct you are. And again, it's just talking to myself and telling myself. So now I'm just so direct with my team. I'm like, right, okay, what's going on and why did that happen? And let's talk about it. But I do it nearly as it happens, then it's done. I'm like, oh my, I leave the salon with nothing on my shoulders because we sorted it out that day. It's taken me years, years, but it's good, you know, it's so good.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely need to take a leaf out of the book. I tend to do things straight away because I hate confrontation. And with teams, you're always going to have stuff like that, aren't you? Especially when you're working with a lot of women. Like, there's always going to be that problems. But when you do sort things out straight away, whether that's other team members clashing or something that you don't agree with as a team or whatever that might be, just sort it out straight away because it just helps so much.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to say that was something that I didn't do. I would say it eventually, but I would say it when like there was no need to even say it anymore. Everything had died down and I'd be like, oh, do you remember that thing? And now when I look back, I'm kind of like, they're over at this stage. But then what's happened is they've looked at me as a boss to kind of think she never did anything about that. And that's not a good, I think, for a team as well, you know. They might not feel a little bit protected or being led properly as well. Whereas now I'm like, right, what happened? Let's sort it out. Let's do it. But what I found is my team are doing that. So like, say if one of my team comes to me and says, oh, so she did this or whatever, like, or, you know, I think that was that person, or they didn't mix that color up properly. So I'll say to them, okay, did you tell them? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so why are you telling me? And again, it's just more because if you're talking about someone to somebody, even if it's the boss, you're talking to the wrong person. You should be able to say to somebody, do you know, when you mix up that color, you put too much ball in it, you didn't measure it, I needed to measure, and just explain why you need them to do that. And then they will do it more. Whereas by you coming to tell me, for me to go and talk to them, that just puts a bad vibe in there. We should be able to communicate in a beautiful way to be able to say to the team, like it's funny as well, my team can say anything to me, and like sometimes I have to like check myself and say, right, Katrina, don't get offended, they're just having a laugh here. But like as a boss, you can get a little bit paranoid and you're like, oh, what were they talking about me when I just walked out of the room there? But it's just, we have this open communication now that I don't feel that way anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just tell me if I need to improve as a boss, tell me, because I'm going to tell you what you need to do as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's really helpful. I'm pretty sure anyone listening to this podcast is going to be like a counselling session for most people. It's been absolutely incredible.
I've been counselling myself for years until I actually went and got real counselling and real coaching. And yeah, you know, I'm always saying everything happens within ourselves. So whatever we're doing or not doing, it's happening from within. So
definitely. So I just want to quickly...
And I'm going to have money tree in my back garden.
Yes, definitely. So I just wanted to quickly touch on work-life balance. Obviously, that is like a big thing for you anyway with the 3-day working week. But I know as a business owner, you have more than just the salon. You have the academy, you have your podcast, you have all the other things that as a business owner we do. Plus you have a husband and 2 beautiful children. So how do you manage it? Because I know you just work 3 days.
Yeah, I would say some weeks I manage it and some weeks I don't. I definitely think like we get out, we make sure we get out for a walk every day with kids. So that's our time to go for a walk. Darcy she loves art, so she's into drawing. So I really make sure that I push that with her because I know that's her creative, it's her creative flow, and I want her to really embrace it. So she's actually this 10-year-old artist now, which is meant to like, I'm just looking at her and I'm just in awe of her, but I let her know as well because that's important to me. Because I remember talking to a counsellor about, you know, children, because there was times when I was working and feeling guilty when I'd look at my friends bringing their children out every day and they were bringing them to like everywhere and they were, And I was like, oh, I didn't bring the kids out today. And I remember talking to a counsellor about it, and she actually said to me, Katrina, it's actually about quality, not quantity. And that stuck with me through everything. So what I try to do now is be present in moments and have more quality time as opposed to too much of the time. And that's why even what I was saying about Clubhouse is starting to kind of take over. So I'm like, right, okay, I need to. And at one stage, my husband said, you are always on Clubhouse. Like, he literally let rip at me one day, and I was just like, yeah. I was about to go, no, I'm not. But I was like, I know I am. And I had to, like, because I would have retaliated before, years ago, whereas now I'm like, you're right. And that's how he feels. And it's understanding that that's how he feels. So then I was like, right, okay. So that's when, again, it's just listening to the people around you, because they won't tell you that they miss you and that they love you. What they'll say to you is they'll just get snappy with you instead of saying, because I'd say to Matt, why don't you just say, babe, I actually miss you. Like, I want you to spend time with me. But instead you're giving out to me, and that makes me not want to spend time with you. And he's like, because I can't, like, I can't say that. And I was like, but you can. And then I was like, oh, actually, maybe he can. So now it's kind of just understanding, right, he needs me at this particular time. So Matt is a chef, so he cooks dinner. So I know he loves when I am in the kitchen with him and I ask him questions while he's cooking. So I've started to do that a little bit more, and that, it's mad. But that gives me a little bit of extra freedom then to just do whatever I want to do as well, because I've given him that bit of time. And it's just really understanding what it is, the people around you, what they need from you as well at the time. And I know for Darcy wants to play with me. So Darcy loves nothing better than us, like, either playing hide and go seek or drawing together. So I know, right, that's what I need to do with her. And it's just understanding the love language between everybody and what they need. Like, Lone just loves cuddles. Lone just wants, like, I have to, like, sleep with Lone every night, give him cuddles, give him a back tickle, read a story with him, and he's happy out. That's how he, and that's what I've started to really do, is just understand what it is the people around me need. And to me, that's kind of helping me with the balance. I don't have the balance all the time though. That is helping me with the balance. And then I do try, and like, Sundays was this big thing of family days, but some of my education would be on a Sunday. So what I actually started to do was, if I ever had education on and again, Matt would be just like, that's family day. And, because he'd see me that I was working so much. So what I started to do was, okay, if I have education on a Sunday, I'm taking Saturday off. But now with the roster, all of that is all fixed in a way. Do you know that way? So it's, but the other thing I do once a month, and we're going to be bringing it back soon, is 5 a.m. Biz Club. So we get up at 4:45, and it's a Zoom call for between 5 and 7. And I normally close the door of the Zoom at, like, literally 5:05. But what I'm thinking of doing is this time just having it open. So if somebody just wants to come in at 6 a.m, they can, because not everybody is a 5 a.m. person. And I'm not. That's why I only do 1 week out of the month. But what I do find is, if I've something to work on, I really focus on, like, that week I'm going to just focus on this. And that's even, the roster came, like, that week I was working as well on the roster. And another thing that I was working on, we changed how we do our apprenticeship within Cut Social, and we brought in financial. So there's a whole criteria of the financials. So them learning all about, their pay slip, their target, what everything means, how to upsell, and again, I really believe you only upsell if the client needs it. So, and it's, like, I don't want my team becoming sellers of something that someone doesn't need, especially nowadays. People are handing over a lot of money, and I want to make sure that they get the quality for the money that they're handing over as well. Because people buy from people, so they're buying from you. So you just don't want to be, I think you should always have integrity when you're selling something. So that's another thing that we've brought in. And then we've brought in self-care, mindfulness, and self-talk. So there's and mindset. So there's growth mindset. So there's courses for the teams to do, but that's part of their education now. And any of our seniors who haven't done that, our lead artists, they have to go back now and do that. And they've all suffered with their mental health in the last year at some point, like some of them have ran it really smooth, and then they have a big bump and they're like, oh my God, what's going on? And it's just that we're all kind of trying to be there for each other as well. But I think if you can be there for yourself, that is the goal, isn't it? That we can all really know what we need and understand our feelings, and But yeah, that's something that we're doing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think loads of people will be able to take away the fact of giving your family and people around you the things that they need and what they crave for, rather than just, you know, being present. Well, they might not actually need that time just being present. Actually give them what they need, and your team what they need, and your family and your children. Like that's such a good way of looking at it, definitely.
And so I used to buy Matt. I love a nice present. I love jewelry. I love perfume, and but I used to buy Matt gorgeous, expensive aftershave and a designer shirt, and like he'd look at me and be like, "Thanks," and I'd be just like, "Why are you not delighted? Like, you are so lucky. I'm working my ass off, like, and I'm buying you this, and you don't even appreciate it." And like I used to think that that was that was really bad, but then when I actually realized, I was like, I'm buying him what I would like. Do you know what I mean? I love all that. I love when someone treats me to a nice little gift that I wouldn't buy myself. But he doesn't. He actually just loves that if the football or the rugby is on, that I will take the kids out for a walk so he can actually watch it. Do you know that way? Whereas I would be like, it's only football and rugby. Like, I've work to do. That's what I'd be saying. And the kids would kind of, going between the two of us. But now I understand. I'm like, he just wants a little quiet time when the football and rugby is on. Like, it's not too much to ask for. The fact that, like, he'll cook. He gets up and does the school run with me. He cooks breakfast. I could ask Matt to cook me anything at 12 o'clock at night and he'll cook for me. Do you know what I mean? So it's really appreciating the good sides, whereas I used to, like, I know we were talking earlier on about, like, that balance with our relationships and stuff, and like I'm definitely one type of person and Matt is the opposite to me, and I used to nearly go against it, whereas now I'm starting to really appreciate the fact that he has everything that I'm not, and I have everything that he's not. And I think if we can work on that together, that's a good team. Because think about it, that's how our businesses work. Our businesses work because not all the same people. We have other people who are better at other things, and it's appreciating them and catching them in that. And it's very hard with your husband because you just don't want to.
Have you read the love languages?
I read it, but I have that's on my list. I'm gonna get that one. But I read a book called, let me find it. It's kind of similar, but I'm gonna read that one next. That's already on my list. Let me just see, can I find that one? But it's all about that, isn't it? And again, I know my counsellor, because we did a couples counselling, and she was big on all of that. Like, so that was a book that she mentioned to us as well. But even all of those things that I've learned from her, I'd say like a lot of that would be from that book.
Yeah, definitely. Even same with your children, not even just in relationships or other people, like knowing what their love languages are, and it's actually such a game changer.
Unreal. So the book that I read, it's by Harville Hendricks, PhD, and it's called Finding and Keeping Love. Really, really good, because it goes into, and again, this was when I read that book, that's when I was like, right, I think we should get some couples counselling just for us to have, like, so we can be the best that we can be. And like I'm always saying to Matt, like, even if we don't work out and stuff, like I've said that, like, I want us to be a team, but I prefer us to be a team together. Do you know that way? Like, so, and I didn't think he'd come to couples counselling with me, but he did. And I was like, this is amazing. This is great. I actually have somebody now who will listen to me, and like Matt has to sit there and just listen to what I have to say. But it was funny. I remember one of the weeks we went, and when I went to say something, and I was like, wait, I tell you, I was dying to tell her what like Matt did. And she was like, okay, and why did you react like that, Katrina? And I was like, sorry, what? She turned it on me, and then, but it made me sit with myself and realize it was nothing to do with Matt. It was actually me, my reaction to his reaction. And I was like, oh no.
I love it because it reminds me of, have you been watching Married at First Sight, Australia?
Yeah. My mom and Matt, like, their thing that they watch. So I actually only came in at the end, because sometimes I'm just like, oh no, I'd rather be doing something for the business. But actually I got into it the last few weeks, and it's like,
oh well, I don't really watch TV. Everyone that knows me knows I don't do TV. I'm like, I'd rather be working for a company than turning on the TV. In fact, there's not even point me having one. It never gets turned on. But at weekends, I've really tried to just not work, completely out, like, and I turn the TV on, make sure it still works, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So me and my partner have been watching it only on weekends. So we're way behind. We've got so many episodes to get through. But when they do the counselling sessions, I'm like, everyone needs this.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have that person that could just bounce me and my partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was talking to a couple of clients and some of my friends, and I was saying every couple should have counselling, because we all have this background story from our families. And I actually thought that, because Matt is from Cornwall, so I thought that his background was because he was British and my background was because I was Irish. And I was just like, we're just not the same. There was just like moments of our relationship, I was like, we're just not the same. We just, because I would expect Matt to go for babe, if I was doing something big, whereas he was giving out to me for working too hard. And I was like, I need somebody who's, but he's supportive then in other ways. But when we did our counselling, I was just like, this is unreal. And even now, we like to discuss things a little bit more and actually talk about it. Now, I know some couples start off that way, and that's brilliant and fair play to them. But like, I've just never really been that way in relationships. I've had to kind of, work. But I definitely think every couple should have couples counselling. I think it's incredible. And one of my clients, she gave me this girl's number, and she said, Katrina, she's brilliant, but she's split up with her husband. And she said, I know, she said, we've split up. She said, she's so good. And I love that, because I'm like, if you come together to realize that you're actually not meant to be together, that's good, because then you'll both be happy separately as well. But it's all about trying to work together and be happy together as well. And that's really understanding each other. But like, I'm always saying to Matt, like, not always, but I love him so much that, if anything happened between us, I would still want him, like, I'd want him to love himself enough to, I guess, to shine on his own as well. Do you know that way? Because I know I love myself enough as well now. Finally, after all them years, I love myself enough that I know no matter what would happen, that we'd be okay. And I think once you start to realize that you'll be okay, then your relationship can become better then. Do you know that way? Because you're not competing with each other anymore.
Yeah.
Or I'm not like looking saying, oh, who's that text message from there now? I'm joking. I still say that. I'm like, who's that?
That's hilarious. And then just to kind of wrap up this podcast, because it's been absolutely incredible, if there was anyone starting a business, what advice would you give them?
I would say to have a mentor, have a coach, get advice from, I wouldn't say get advice from too many people, because sometimes you can become cloudy when there's lots of different advice, but get advice from people who like genuinely will know your business and care about you and your business. I think that's really important. I think have a mentor, within the industry, but also maybe outside. I got on a thing called Going for Growth, and it was for women in business, and there were 60 people chosen out of 800 women in Ireland, and I got on it. And 6 of my mentors that were on that were all, none of them were in my industry. One was a vet, one was from PayPal. So we used to go to PayPal for a month, every month for 6 months, and learn all about the financial side of things. One owns like the main pharmacy companies in Ireland, and it was just incredible insight. So have an accountability group if you can, like even with a couple of other salon owners, and just check in. Like I've turned all my WhatsApps into accountability groups. So whether that's for running or meditation. So I have one for running, I've one for meditation, I've one for my business. And it's all about, really surrounding yourself with people. And sometimes you can't do that because you could be living at home and you could have your parents, or it could be a sister or a brother, or even your partner might have a different mindset to you. And we can react too much to them, or we think we have to cut people out of our lives. So, but I actually think even with Clubhouse now, you can surround yourself with people in a different way. and still, you know, have relationships with people that might have more of a negative mindset than you. So that would be my tip, is to get a mentor, get a coach, and they should be people who you aspire to be within a few years, who have done what you've done, not somebody that says they've done something if they haven't done it, you know, that way. Yeah, mentor, coach, what else? And surround yourself with incredible people, even in WhatsApp groups. Make them more accountability groups and positive, as opposed to bitching groups.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Where can people find you online, Katrina, if anyone wants to connect?
So on Instagram, I am Katrina Kelly Education. On TikTok, I've just gotten into the TikTok world, kind of loving it. I hated it for a little while. Well, I actually loved it when I first got on, because I was funny. I was just doing dances with Darcy and stuff. Then I was like, right, okay, let's do this for a business. Took me a little while, but now I'm understanding you have to be quick. 30 seconds flat. That's the TikTokers only have time for 30 seconds of your waffle. So I try to be quick on that. But that's Katrina Kelly Education. And then my Clubhouse club is called Salon Biz Growth Mindset. And then Hair Q&A with KK. And my Clubhouse is actually, you know, if you just go into my bio on my Instagram, you'll see a link tree, and that has the links to everything is on that. So my websites and all around that is on. That's just easier.
Perfect. So anyone listening, go and head over to Katrina's Instagram, and it's all in her bio in Linktree. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. I know you're busy creating content and doing all the wonderful things you do today, so thank you so much.
Oh, Katie, thank you so much. Absolutely delighted to be interviewed by you. You're incredible as well, and an inspiration. I definitely think we'll have to have you in our club and Clubhouse as well.
Definitely, I'd love to. Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Have a good.
Hopefully I'll meet in real life as well.
Yeah, definitely. After all of this pandemic life is over, we can get back to normal again. It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, good luck with the reopening, everybody over there. We're still waiting to find out what's going on in Ireland, but good luck, and I can't wait for you to lead us the way forward now.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you love this episode, please share and tag us on social media at KG Salon.
I always follow them.
If you're a salon owner and would like to join our membership program, coffee, cake, and chat, get in touch for a space. Be around a like-minded tribe. Have 400 pounds worth of mentoring a month. And push yourself to the next level.
I love being a part of such a great community.
Until next time, have an amazing, successful week.